I'm delighted and honoured to become an honorary board member of the Tourette Syndrome Association. My association with the association goes back 40 years, when I actually became a member of the medical board. At that time, the TSA had only a single branch in Manhattan and 20 members. And now it is all over the solar system and has millions of members. I first became interested in Tourette's when I was working with my awakenings patients, because many of these had sudden tics and gestures, which were similar, I thought, to those of Tourette's syndrome, though I'd never actually seen anyone with Tourette's. I first saw a young man with Tourette's in 1971, and the day after seeing him, I thought I saw 3 people in the streets of New York with Tourette's. And I was very taken aback. I thought I must have been seeing such people all my life, but never recognized them as having Tourette's syndrome. And so my first patient opened my eyes to Tourette's syndrome, and I was not entirely surprised to find then that Tourette's syndrome was 1,000 times commoner than it had been supposed to be. People spoke about 1 case in 1 million or 500,000, and clearly it was 1 in 1,000, if not 500, if not 200. There's been a huge change over the years, so that Tourette's syndrome has changed from being an obscure, rare disorder to something which is known to everybody, and no longer, I think, has, or certainly no longer should have, any stigma attached to it. There have been a lot of eminent people, athletes, musicians, actors, etc., with Tourette's syndrome. They're quite open about it, and indeed Tourette's can sometimes give a swiftness of thought and gesture and a vividness of emotion which has very positive value. One of my subjects, a surgeon, an aviator who himself had Tourette's syndrome, realized he had it only after listening to a radio broadcast. And at that time, it was commoner to make a self-diagnosis from something one had read or heard or seen than have a doctor do it. I imagine, since I've written about Tourette's quite a bit, and will continue to do so, that some of my own writings may have borne home to people that they had Tourette's, and also that it's okay to have it. The TSA, like all patient support groups, has been very vital for people with Tourette's. They can meet others with the same condition. They can share experiences and perspectives and strategies and feel they're not alone in the world. The TSA also encourages and supports research of all kinds, and it has and it's really been a powerful advocate for Tourette's syndrome in the last 40 years, or 42 years, since it was founded. Many years ago, in the 70s, when I saw a man with extremely complex and rapid tics, too fast for the eye to follow, I thought I would have to get video to record it. And when I went along to a video shop with a colleague, I explained what the situation was, and I imitated Tourette's a little bit. But later the shopkeeper said to my colleague, "You told me Dr. Sachs was interested in Tourette's. You didn't tell me that he had it." I don't know whether I have it or not, but at least I'm happy to be an honorary Touretteer. And I do jerk and tick a little bit, and I tend to echo noises. So I feel a certain physiological kinship, as well as much psychological and emotional sympathy for people with Tourette's. And I think that now, being recognized early, not being stigmatized, and various advances in medicine are making a huge difference. In 1988, the Tourette Syndrome Association arranged a big meeting for people with Tourette's in Cincinnati. The governor of Ohio declared it Tourette Awareness Week, and something like 200 people, adults and children with Tourette's, converged on Cincinnati from all over the states. For many of them, it was their first view of another person with Tourette's, and this was occasionally frightening. People with mild Tourette's were worried about people by seeing people with severe Tourette's, but by the next day, a sort of community had formed, a quasi-community of people with shared experiences and perspectives. And on Sunday, one of the group went to Wendy's, where he jerked and cursed a good deal, and Wendy's asked him if he would go, and he pulled out a card indicating that he had Tourette syndrome, a neurological condition. He couldn't help it, and that the governor had declared and that the governor of Ohio had declared it Tourette Awareness Week. But Wendy said, "We don't care, get out." He came back to the group, who were outraged at the way he had been treated. We contacted the media and then marched 200 strong on Wendy's, ticking and cursing, and Wendy's has never been the same since. This is the only time I've ever found myself in a sort of communal march. Thank you again for this honor. The Tourette Syndrome Association is on very sturdy legs now, and I think it will go from strength to strength in the years to come. Thank you.